So here's the story. So I had done shows before, in Texas, and I had never done a show in San Antonio. So the original plan was we wanted to record a special in San Antonio for the new Netflix show, for the series. So we couldn't really travel too much. And remember, they kept telling us, stay in your bubble, stay in your COVID bubble. Don't forget to stay in your bubble. So in order to be as proactive and just careful, we all went out there together as a team, okay? And then we all basically said, we're gonna do a residency in San Antonio for 30 days. 30 shows in 30 days. And on the last day, we'll record a new special. This way it gives me a chance to start performing again because it'd been over a year since I touched the stage. And so we get there and they gave me the option, do you wanna stay in a house or do you wanna stay in a hotel? And I said, well, I've never lived in Texas before, so let's see what a house feels like. So they got us like this fancy Airbnb, and basically, it was Martin, Alfred, my friend Rick, myself. It was like 4 of us. It was like the Mexican version of the real world, okay? So we're all in this big house together. Everyone gets their own room. And so, of course, I get the big room because it's me. And, look at something. No, yes. So I open up the door. I turn on the light. Click. And I'm like, this is a beautiful room. Wow, look how big it is. And then I notice there's a hole in the wall. And I said, that's weird. So I get really close to the wall. And when I got close, I realized it's not a hole, it's a big ass roach. And let me tell you, I am not exaggerating when I tell you that cuca was this big. That roach was this big. Now, I have used this unit of measure before to exaggerate. And let me tell you, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that freaking cucaracha was this big. And I don't want you guys thinking, oh, what, you think you're too good for roaches? No! I grew up with roaches my whole life. My mom and I, we lived in apartment buildings, projects. We always had roaches, but they were different. First of all, they were this big. And California roaches are very different. Okay? For example, when you turn on the light, they scatter. In Texas, he chilled. In California, they respond to sound and movement. Ah! Scatter. I tried my California technique on this Tejano roach. I said, ah! And the roach was like, what? Oh my God, I don't think he's in my room. I think I'm in his. And at that moment, my tour manager walks in the room and she's like, is everything okay with the accommodations? I said, no, the room is beautiful, but look at the wall. Aw, there's a hole in the wall. I said, get closer. She gets up to the wall and she's like, oh, it's a big ass roach. I said, you're okay with that? She said, he's not in my room. She can see that I'm visibly bothered by this roach, so she's like, would you like me to take care of your little friend for you? And it is a little emasculating because I'm a big guy and she's like 5'2". So she's like, move, fool. She takes off her shoes, she grabs it, she gets up on a chair, and she brings it back, and she's like, soy la 69. Bam! Nailed that roach. Threw down her shoe, put it on. I look at the wall, and it kept moving. And I said, you have angered our friend. And she was like defensive. Fool, round two. So she grabs her shoe, gets back up on the stool, and she brings it back. And just as she's about to nail this roach for the second time, that shit started flying. I understand that some people need to be held accountable, but And by the way, if I'm the one telling you about cancel culture, It's already gone way too far. Because I pride myself in the fact that I'm not a comedian who's divisive. That's why I don't talk about politics, religion, or sports, okay? Because all three will divide people. That's why I talk about food. Because food brings people together. That's right, unless you're vegan. In which case, you can leave right now. I don't give a shit. I really don't. I don't care if I offend you and your salad. You can leave. Bye. And the only reason why I'm so on the vegans is because I once was vegan. I know some of you are like, no. Yeah. I was vegan for a little under a year. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, oh, that's not, you weren't even vegan then if it was less than a year. But think about it. Anyone who has ever gone on a diet knows just how hard it is to change your eating habits for 1 week, much less a year. And they told me, they said, you're gonna lose weight. And they were not lying. I lost weight, patience, and friends. So I'm just here to let you know, I'm back. So, I almost got canceled. I almost got canceled because I posted a tweet of one of my dogs. Now, some of you already know I have 2 Chihuahuas. Yeah. I know, people watching at home, they're like, that's not stereotypical. Yeah, I know. I have 2 Chihuahuas. I have a little boy dog named Vinny and a little girl dog named Risa. Combined weight, 14 pounds. My little girl dog, Risa, she is 4 pounds and she's 17 years old. Yeah. Her anger keeps her alive. I will confirm every stereotype about Chihuahuas. Oh yeah, it's real. The rage is real. But with me, she loves me, okay? She's 17, she has no teeth, her tongue hangs out, she's adorable. So I posted a picture of her on Twitter with the caption that basically read, going to take my little nugget to go get some chicken nuggets. And then I tagged at Chick-fil-A. Okay, so yeah, you feel that? See how the majority of the room was like, that place is good, sucks their clothes on Sunday. And then there was a few of you in here and you heard the groan, yeah. Half of those people, vegans. The other half are the ones that blew up my Twitter feed. My Twitter feed started getting flooded with nasty comments. You're stupid, you're horrible, how could you? We thought more of you. Really, Fluffy, you? And I don't know what they're talking about. The problem with cancel culture is they only attack, they don't educate, they don't explain. They just attack. And they expect you to know better or understand them, but they're not willing to play nice. So here's what happens. I'm asking questions, no one wants to answer. They're like, Fluffy, you're horrible, you're terrible. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, really, Chick-fil-A? I'm like, I'm sorry, Popeyes was closed, I don't know what to tell you. They're like, you know what you're doing. I said, I am more hungry than woke. I don't know what you mean. And then finally, someone took the time to explain to me why I was wrong for that tweet. Come to find out that Chick-fil-A in the past has been known to make contributions to organizations that are a little out of line with the LGBTQ plus community. Now, forgive me for using my hand to get the letters right. I just want to get the letters right. I do consider myself a supporter and an ally, and I'm trying my best to be as understanding as I can be. You know, some things transpired, and one day he wanted to have a conversation with me, and he caught me off guard. He's like, can I talk to you, Dad? Yeah, what's up? I have something I want to tell you. Okay, what's up? It's important. Okay? It's serious. Can you please sit down? How far along is she? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Don't be scaring me, dude. What's about us? Okay. What's up? He tells me, can you please stop making fun of me? And when he said it, I felt it because I knew how hard it was for him to bring that up. And I said, how long have you felt this way? My whole life. Have you ever tried to bring this up in the past? Yeah. What did I say? You told me to put on deodorant. It worked. Look, Frankie, I didn't know how to be a dad, okay? It was one of those things where I just knew there were certain things I didn't want to do. I knew that I never wanted to yell at you, and I knew for a fact that I never wanted to hit you. So I did the best thing I could do with what I knew how to do. I made fun of you. That's called shaming. This year, look, if you don't want me to do any more stories or jokes or just make fun, I understand. It's one of those things where I didn't want to make him feel bad, and I don't want to feel bad making him, you know what I mean? So I said, look, I'm going to let the audience know that we spoke, and so that they understand why moving forward in the future there will be no more stories about Frankie. Why is that important? Because if I don't explain why I stopped talking about you, they're going to think you died. I don't want them to think you died either, so gave him a big hug, reminded him how much I love him, because I love him very much, and I hope he knows that. I think that a lot of the issues and frustrations we've had for a while now have a lot to do with the fact that I am no longer with his mom. I don't want you guys to think that all of a sudden I'm going to start doing jokes about her. I'm not. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about the woman I was with for almost 14 years. Okay? Nothing bad, nothing negative, nothing derogatory, nothing short of awesome. Nothing short of good vibes, okay? I have nothing bad to say about her. And not just because I signed a piece of paper that said I wouldn't say anything bad, but because at the end of the day, that is still my son's mom, and I need to make sure she continues to support me being his dad. So you got to keep it cool. This next thing I'm going to say is in no way, shape, or form political. So please don't take it that way. The vaccine. Look at some of you. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I knew it. I knew it was coming. I knew it. Look at him. He's got booster written all over him. Look at him. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your bodies. I'm just here to share a story. I got vaccinated, okay, and I'm not saying it to get approval. I'm just telling you because, you know, hey, look, I was 85% of the underlying conditions. At this point, I'm rolling the dice. Plus, I wanted to work. I got the vaccine, but it was one of those things where, you know, in the beginning, when you wanted to get the vaccine, you couldn't just walk into a CVS. You had to make an appointment, you know, and it was a drive out. You couldn't just show up, because I tried. Oh, I tried using the face. I'm like, hey. Apparently this only works at Red Lobster. Oh yeah, I could show up at Red Lobster at 8 o'clock on a Saturday. It's on. You know, do you have reservations? It's fluffy, make biscuits. But for the vaccine, no, I made my appointment like everyone else. It was a drive-out location, you know. There's a little speaker box. May I help you? This is very familiar. Yeah, let me have a large vaccine. Pfizer, Moderna. I got a coupon, whatever's free. pull up to the window, and then I pull up to the next window, and then a guy who's all covered up, he's got the whole, Then you give them your arm, and then they harpoon you, and they make you park your car for 10 to 15 minutes in case you have an allergic reaction. So I'm sitting in the car, and I got the radio going and the AC going, and I glance over, and I notice that there's people there protesting. And that's fine. Protesting is a right, and I'm all for it, okay? My problem is when protesters leave the sidewalk and get right in your face. So here's what happened. I glance over, I see the protesters, and I locked eyes with one of them. And I could do this all day. I'm in the car, right? Like, what? The lady who I'm looking at all of a sudden starts walking towards me, and I'm like, shit. She gets to my car, and she starts going off on me. And I have never had a complete stranger go off on me for no reason at all. She gets to the car, and she's like, "You are so stupid. You are so stupid. How could you get the vaccine? How could you get the vaccine? You have no idea what you just put inside your body, dumbass." I didn't know what to say. I was like, "Bitch, I eat chorizo." You have no idea what that vaccine has to work through in order to have any type of effect whatsoever. It's got to go through years with the chorizo, chicharrón, carnitas, carne asada, freaking hot dogs, bologna, spam, menudo, caldo de res. Oh. It's got to go through the gauntlet. So let me give you a heads up as to what has happened since the last time I did a special. My son Frankie is now 19 years old. 19 years old, high school graduate. He has all his shots, ladies. People tell me all the time, why do you talk about your son so much? Because he won't leave. Does he like it when you talk about him? I said, no, he hates it. Well, why do you do it? Because he won't leave. I'll tell you what he likes to do right now. He likes to sit around the house and watch videos of other kids playing video games. See, some of you are clapping. I didn't know that was an actual thing. I asked him, "What are you doing?" "I'm watching other kids playing video games." I said, "That's really? Why?" "Well, they're professionals." I'm like, "Why would you watch something that you could be doing?" "Because they're professionals." That's dumb. "Really, Dad? Every Sunday I see you watching football. How come you don't play?" I didn't even argue. I just cut off the internet. My son's problem right now is that he has, according to him, too many options. Okay, that's his problem. I'm like, poor guy. "I have so many options, Dad. I don't know what to do." Write them down. Put them on a wheel. Freaking. Today, plumber. Something. The problem is we go places, people find out he is my son, and then they offer him opportunities. He doesn't understand that that's not how the real world works. I know about struggling and clawing and fighting for the opportunity to do something. He doesn't get it yet. And that's my fault. For example, I take him and his mom out to dinner, okay? I took them both to Red Lobster. Now, Houston, me personally, I love Red Lobster, okay? And not even for the seafood. I'm talking about the biscuits. Oh, yeah. So we're sitting there and we're having a conversation with our son about life, opportunity, what does he want to do with himself? And as we're talking to him, the manager from Red Lobster walks over to our table. And he's being really cool, right? He's like, hey. And I'm like, hey. He looks at my son. Is this the infamous Frankie? I said, why, yes, it is. He just graduated. Congratulations. And he's looking for a job. The manager goes, oh, say no more. And he gives my son a business card. And then he starts to say, listen, Frankie, this is all you have to do. Just go online and fill out the application. Once it's registered, call me personally, and I'll see to it that you get an interview. The only position we have available right now is for a host, but there's plenty of room for opportunity here at Red Lobster. Besides, you got one hell of a reference. And then he walked away, and I was like, oh my God. I'm gonna get free biscuits. My son looks at me and says, I don't want to work at Red Lobster. I said, Frankie, no one is making you work anywhere. This is just another opportunity that you're wasting. Okay, no Red Lobster. What's your plan? Oh, I don't know. I got frustrated, so I raised my voice. Well, you better start thinking. His mom didn't like that. Don't talk to him like that. I said, look, biscuit blocker. See, up to this point, we have agreed on how we raise our son. But in this situation, she's trying to protect him from the world. I'm trying to prepare him for the world. If he cannot handle me raising my voice to get his attention, to see the bigger picture, he's not ready for a world that doesn't care about his feelings. So I say, you know what? I gotta have a one-on-one with him. I gotta have a one-on-one without... So I take him out to the movies. We get in the car, we take off. Little 20-minute drive, okay? As we're driving, I figure I'll have a little one-on-one with him. Maybe this way it doesn't feel like a talk. I thought he understood what I was trying to say. It's late, we're leaving the movies, we're pulling out of the parking structure, and out of the corner of my eye, I see a cop car. And I made a sound, I was like, ugh. And Frankie goes, what is it, Dad? I said, there's a cop at the light. What are you worried about? He's gonna stop us. How do you know? Watch. I made that left turn. Frankie's losing it. It's happening! I said, relax. I pull over. Cop pulls up from behind. Immediately. Driver, windows down. Driver, hands out the window.
Serious?
Both of them. I can't, I'm fat! He gets to the window, and he's got the flashlight, and he shines the light right in my face. He's like, license? Yeah. Here. He takes the license, and then, of course, do you know why I stopped you? Officer, no, I don't, but I'm sure you're about to tell me. You don't have a front plate on your car. I said, officer, you're absolutely right. I do not have a front plate on my car, but my name is actually on the front of the car. Excuse me, my name is on the front of the car. I own a 2012 Ford Flex, and the Ford Flex has the actual word flex written on the hood. I have a friend who does custom automotive work, and he took all the letters off the car except for the letter F, and he made letters so that it spells fluffy on the hood, okay? Yeah, it sounds impressive. You can do it too for like $23. It's not that bad. They're like refrigerator magnets. You can even move them. Like one day a letter flew off and it said Fufi. Look at me, que pendejo. I know, stupid, right? So the officer walks around to the front of the car and he takes his flashlight and he shines the light right on the hood. And he does this, he goes, I knew it! And my son goes, what does that mean? I said, that means we get to go. Oh, Houston, for the first time in a long time, my son was actually impressed by something that I did. You gotta figure, this is not impressive to my son because he grew up in this environment, okay? You saw that, right? I saw like a, that's like the third one I've seen. It's like stuff keeps, people upstairs from Tombow, keep talking. All right, I'll tell you guys what happened. Shakira performed here a few days ago, and Shakira has an amazing show, okay? She doesn't just come out and la 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 I think I just hurt myself. But there's a part of her show where all of a sudden it goes, and there's cannons with confetti that shoot everywhere, right? And I think that was leftover Shakira. Yeah. Can we edit out the part where I burned 800 calories? Oh my God. So where was I? Oh, this does nothing for my son. And the reason why I say that is because he grew up in this environment. He's been to 1,000 shows. He's seen me on TV 1,000,000 times. It's not a big deal. But the fact that I got stopped by a cop and the cop recognized me and geeked out and let us go, I earned street cred with my kid. Yeah, Frankie was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, hell yeah, cuz, that's right. You better recognize, player. We get home, he woke up his mom. Mom, you should have seen it. We got stopped by the cops. Are you okay? Yeah, they recognized Dad and they let us go. And she stayed quiet. And I told her, huh? I got recognized. And she said, ah.